This visual clearly represents how we think about communication, visual communication in Visualizing Palestine and Visualizing Impact. The event that was happening was an administrative detainee was on hunger strike, and for over 50 days the media hadn't covered his detention. So we approached it from the angle of hunger strikes as opposed to a Palestinian in an Israeli prison. And that makes it a global topic. Many people have done it before, and we started including not only the medical day-to-day of what happens to your body all the way up to 70 days of hunger striking, but also who of the figures that have struggled for peace and social justice have gone through that. Examples of that are Nelson Mandela, Leila Swaif, most recently in Egypt, South African detainees, and so on.
My name is Rmzi. I was born in Jerusalem. I lived in many places, and I studied in Montreal. I was a structural designer, I'm a structural engineer. I went back to Ramallah to organize TEDx Ramallah, and then from then co-founded with Wajmana, an organization that does data visualization around social issues.
My name is Wajmana. I'm from different parts of the Arab world, of Syrian origin, and hold Palestine dearly. My involvement with Rmzi on Visualizing Palestine is very personal to start with. So it's a decision of either being involved in understanding what's happening in the region in general, but specifically in Palestine, or removing myself from conversations about it in the absolute. So I wanted to know more. I wanted to actively be involved in research and knowledge, sharing and learning.
So Visualizing Palestine is a project of Visualizing Impact, which does take data and statistics about the social framework that we live in, or that the Palestinians live in, and creates visual representation, which is infographics, motion graphics, any type of visual output that explains the context, what it is. So let me give you a personal story. So I would go hiking every Friday, or I'd go, they call it shatha, you go around and one lawyer said, and he's an Australian lawyer, works in Defense for Children, and was saying, there's 700 children at the time, now it's 500, at the time, 700 children a year were incarcerated in Israeli jails, or were put in jail every single year. 52% of them was between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. That means soldiers come inside and kidnap them and put them in jail. I was shocked. Why didn't I know this? I'm Palestinian, I was born there, and there's such exact numbers, they were recorded, they're meticulous, they're public. So that's how the project was born. All these numbers and statistics that are out there, yet we don't know of them.
Most of the content that we use is public. It's from reports by international organizations such as the UN, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty, and other such organizations. But we also refer back to experts in the field, so for example, water or child incarceration and so on, and we go to specific organizations focused on these topics. What we do, and part of the aim of what we do, is to really complete a cycle. So you have huge organizations putting amazing resources on producing reports. So these are the trusted sources. And all we're doing is adding one layer to have those reports be communicable and reach the general public. One of the strengths of our work is that actually we do always include the sources.
In the span of 5 years, 67 mothers were forced to give birth at military checkpoints, where 36 babies died. What the UN did, as opposed to address the underlying restriction, is that they taught Palestinian mothers midwifery, how to give birth at home, as opposed to actually help remove the checkpoints. So the idea here was, I was born in a Cleveland clinic, or I was born in Saint Vincent de Paul Hospital, or as some people are born at Qalandia checkpoint or various checkpoints in the West Bank. Visualizing Palestine was created to create tools so that people can use them. So we've had academics use them in classes, we have authors use it in books, we've had delegations using it in lobbying. Personally, we've had For educational, at schools they've been used. There are bloggers, there's journalists have been used. So actually that's the nicest feedback. That's saying, okay, they've been used by people and we can see an impact. Long term, we're going to be part of an ecosystem where lots of actors are working towards it. So we're not, the only ones, and thankfully not.
We started with Visualizing Palestine, but we're working on visualizing impact. We'd like to touch on social issues and not just social justice issues. And one of the topics we're currently researching is on loneliness and depression, which has high rates, very high rates, and is comparable to obesity in the region. Obesity is a topic that's very much talked about in the world, but loneliness and depression is a very lowly discussed topic. I think what we're contributing with, besides getting information out to the public, is to actually be a successful, hopefully, example of how to use creativity and innovation in addressing social issues or bringing to light social issues.